Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Watch Your Lips.
Episode 8. Jacob, Sal Dottie,
Jeffrey.
and Jeff Cox.
Jeffrey?
And today we have a guest with us, Jake.
Jeffrey Wright.
Good afternoon, fellows. Thanks for having me.
So what are we going to do here? Am I going to call you G, Scro, your nickname?
Call me
Rig.
I got
Rig.
a million nicknames. Corn dog, rig, whatever.
Corn dog. We're going to go with corn dog.
Corn dog.
You're going to have to tell me what corn dog means.
Oh, well, I know Gabe is going to try to act like he came up with the nickname, but I don't think that's the case. I used to hear it from Hoser's parents all the time and Uncle Pat and whatnot. So,
Because is it because you love corn dogs?
oh, I do. I love.
Who doesn't love
obviously, I mean, who does not love corn dogs? If you do not love corn dogs, I don't want to be your friend.
Okay, so like a fair corn dog or...
I mean,
Just a corn
whatever,
dog, bro.
dude.
You don't like the
I'm not gonna
frozen corn dogs?
discriminate.
Yeah.
Are you above that?
I'm not above that. I like the chili cheese ones, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the breakfast sausage pancake wrapped?
I've gotten those before, and actually,
I've never had one. That was
not too bad to be completely.
all right.
Yeah, they're
I
good.
mean, I am a 6'6" massive giant of a man who eats a ton of food, so I'm not going to
Lots of corn dogs.
discriminate on any kind of corn dog or meat on a stick type thing. So
It's good use of words there. We don't discriminate here. So welcome, everybody. Where do we get the podcast, Jeffrey?
You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and now on YouTube
Yeah, so
and
subscribe.
Spotify.
Yeah, and subscribe if you're watching. And if you're listening, go to YouTube and subscribe.
And actually, last week, our producer was not available. We're like 1 or 2 followers away from being able to get a full-time producer. So we did not have the YouTube video up, but we will this week.
Wait a second. Are you putting me on blast for what did I do? What didn't I do this time?
No, you forgot to delete the last one, and we didn't have enough
Oh,
space.
we didn't have enough space, right?
Yeah, so we just need 1 or 2 more followers so we can get a producer. And
Sure. If
we'll
that's
be good.
Yeah. Somebody else to carry
Carry the weight.
the weight. We're out on, would you say Instagram and you're already pissing me off.
At @watchyour_lips on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you. And share it. Go share.
Yes, please share it.
We got our Dolphins helmet here. Proud Dolphins.
Old Faithful.
Hey, the Winter Olympics are over.
news to me.
And moving on.
How was the medal count? Anybody know?
I don't even know. I don't know.
I did watch the shuffleboard on ice.
Yeah.
A lot, actually.
I didn't watch it a lot. I watched some of the
It was good.
curling.
It was good. The United States really lacks in skill in the curling arena.
I mean, say what you want. It is a skill game.
It is.
Didn't they win the gold the last time around?
I think they
think
did.
they
They
did.
medaled for sure, but I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I think they did, but it's really unfortunate because I do love the Olympics, but I really had no way to watch it. I cut the cord a long time ago. I don't really have Peacock. I had zero way to watch the Olympics, and it's unfortunate, but I do like watching.
Yeah,
the Olympics,
I'm a fan.
yeah.
I'm a fan too, but honestly, after we did episode 3, I thought, okay, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to go in and watch more of the Olympics, and I did for like 2 or 3 days. I couldn't keep interest in it. I just couldn't.
I watched some of the snowboarding stuff, which is what I was going to bring up.
Okay, but skeleton.
Yeah,
Let's talk about skeleton though, because that event, I mean, that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, those guys are crazy.
Did you see that?
I mean,
They're going head first 80 miles an hour down a ice chute.
I think bobsleds, luge, anything like that.
Yeah, that's all
Skeleton,
good
that's
stuff.
all amazing.
Yeah, no, it was fun to watch that.
Insane.
But you had one, the snowboard cross. It was like a tag or a team, female and male. Nick Baumgartner, who had just, had a mistake or something and didn't get in the medals a couple days prior to this event, and was pretty emotional about it. I don't know if you guys saw it on TV. He was crying.
I didn't see it.
He had made a mistake or something, but he was 40 years old, been chasing a medal, and this was his last event. And him and Lindsey Jacob Ellis went on to win gold in it, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
Little
Very
comeback story.
That's cool.
Very cool.
And so I started thinking about comeback stories. And there's been a lot of comebacks, right? A lot of comebacks in the history of sports. But there were a couple that came to mind as what's the greatest Patriots over Falcons Super Bowl.
That's a big one.
Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees. Cleveland Indians were up 3-1 in the World Series to the Cubs in 2016. What do you think's harder there? I mean, to me, I'll give you mine. The Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
In
Division rival
2004,
3-0. Absolutely.
Not to say what the Patriots did was, I mean, that's incredible. But
Yeah, but the Falcons let off the gas, too. I mean, they let them back in the game. Should have never been in that game.
100%. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But yeah,
But down 3-0
yeah.
against your division rival, I mean, that's huge.
Well, and even the Cubs, right? They had to win both games, I believe, in Cleveland. And I mean, I can't knock the Astros. We don't have to talk about the scandal itself, but they did go win.
He did wear his Dodgers hat today, didn't he?
Sure did. And my blue shirt.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, go Coyotes. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm sure there's a bunch of other comebacks. I think, like individual ones. I think Tiger Woods is winning the Masters and his comeback. But I thought that was an interesting topic. We'll have to get into that deeper. As we keep
How about the
going.
comeback now, though, for Tiger?
Yeah, I mean,
he's
had some adversity the last decade,
right?
12 years.
And then the car accident, and he comes back, and he looks in pretty good shape.
How about Charlie,
Uncle Charlie?
his son?
No, I'm kidding. The curveball. But yeah, Charlie's awesome.
It's pretty neat, right? Like,
Well, yeah. I mean,
he's gonna be a guy.
he's definitely going to be a dude.
He will whoop my ass right now,
Yeah.
hands down, easy.
So let's get into some fantasy stuff. We haven't done much fantasy. I had something that I threw across to you guys, but we want to do what we're going to call the Fantasy 5.
But we're all in a league together, also.
We're in two leagues together.
together.
And Jeff's actually the commissioner in both of them.
Yeah, and you guys have brought up the fact that Jake won the championship a couple times and
I mean,
forgot to, don't.
technically I did.
He did, but I will say this. I'm in 10 fantasy leagues, but Jeff has a spreadsheet, okay, that's a very professional spreadsheet for our Dynasty League. How long did it take you to do that?
I
mean, honestly.
Honestly, I probably spent 20 hours.
So, this is how much we love fantasy football. The commissioner spent 20 hours and just got a ration of shit for this spreadsheet that nobody even looked at. That pissed him off.
Once you decide to go through it and look at it and,
you can tell it's 20 hours worth of work.
But you can also, it answers pretty much all
Everything
your
you guys
questions
wanna know.
that you may have had. And we would text or call and be like, hey, just go look at the spreadsheet. That's there.
Yeah.
But that's, it's
that was my answer to most questions
Right.
you guys
And
would ask, and I would just spreadsheet.
Well, in all fairness, I didn't ask very many questions
No, you
on
didn't
the
because
spreadsheet because I paid attention.
Yeah,
Well,
because you
you
looked at the spreadsheet.
your team wasn't very good either. So it's
I did make the playoffs.
barely.
You don't either barely
Well,
make the,
I mean,
you
you got
either make the
lucky is
playoffs
what
or
happened.
you don't.
You got
So,
lucky.
I made the playoffs.
You got lucky.
All right, moving on. So Fantasy 5. Today we're going to go into the top 5 from each of us on the 2021 biggest disappointments. So to do the honors, we're going to pass it to our guest right now. Jeff, do you have...
Do we want to go 5 and then 4 and then 3 each?
Sure. Yeah, let's just do it in order. One being the biggest disappointment of the year. So you got one?
Well, the biggest disappointment, and I don't think anybody's not going to have this on their disappointment list, is Allen Robinson. What a terrible, terrible, terrible.
Is that your number 5?
Oh, that's my number 1. I'm sorry. That's what you said, number 1. We're going backwards?
Yeah.
That's typically how it works.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That's
5,
number 1.
4,
Dave Letterman didn't start at number
2,
1.
1.
Well, I had a
Go.
list of 5 in general that I thought
Okay, that's fine.
were
It doesn't matter.
disappointments,
It
to be
doesn't
honest.
matter.
I
Yeah,
really
watch
didn't
your
rank
lips.
them.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I honestly didn't rank them. So,
Okay. Allen Robinson?
we'll start with Allen Robinson. Getting drafted late second, early third round in majority of leagues and being just awful. You had to play him for the first 5 to 6 weeks until you realized that there was nothing there, and you couldn't get rid of him at that point, and you didn't want to drop him because there could have been something. And then once He was droppable. He was injured, and that was that. And what a terrible season. So, like, I just never again.
See, I wouldn't say never again. I can't say never again to him.
Well, he's a free agent this
If he
year.
goes to Jacksonville, are you a never again?
I mean,
because how much of that stems from who was the quarterback or who the quarterbacks were?
okay. Well, he was with Jacksonville first,
Yes.
right? And he was very good.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And
He
got-
wasn't bad with Trubisky, to be honest.
That's true, but I mean, I just
But
don't.
Dalton wasn't enough, and Fields wasn't very good. in his
quick
rookie
bunny
year.
trail. Quick bunny trail here. So, Jeff, I got to call you out on this. He mentioned Mitch Trubisky. So, Jeff, when he tries to trade you in fantasy football, he really tries to justify these trades. So, I got a trade 2 years ago when Trubisky had one game under his belt and he threw 3 touchdowns. And Jeff tries to trade me Mitch Trubisky, and he says he's going to be top 3 at the end of the year. He's going to be top 3, and I'm like, Jeff, he just played one game, and it's Mitch Trubisky. I'm not going to give you a stud running back for Mitch Trubisky. But can I call you out on that? Is that what you try to justify your trades by saying they're going to be top 3 every year?
That's my normal thing that I go to is going to be top 3 next year. And I think a lot of that had to do was the fact that my dad had just whooped my ass with Mitch Trubisky a couple weeks before that, I think, on his 6 touchdown game. So it may be a little
Yeah, he
bit.
put up like 30-something points that week 1 or something. I remember that. I remember that.
That shit doesn't work, though, bro.
Well,
I will say in defense of Corndog that I don't win Dynasty without the trade we did make. Mm-hmm. My opinion. That's all.
Okay.
Granted,
We know you won the league,
but
dude.
I didn't
We know
win.
you won the league.
I didn't win
okay,
the money.
We're not
That's what we'll
going
say.
to talk about you winning the league
just
again.
stop it, Jeff.
So you're number 5.
What have you done? My number 5 was I had 2 guys because I couldn't pick between the 2. Nick Chubb for me and Lamar Jackson.
So they didn't both make your list?
They're both there. They're both sharing number 5.
Okay.
And but again,
why?
Because I mean Lamar's an MVP,
A former MVP.
and they were at one point the division was theirs, and they shit the bed down the stretch. And that, as far as fantasy goes, he wasn't really good.
Yeah,
He
neither one of
wasn't-
them were.
And they don't. And I, to the Allen Robinson point is who was he surrounded by? You got arguably one of the best tight
Darnell
ends.
Mooney's pretty good. So is David Montgomery. They're pretty good. Allen Robinson just wasn't.
Well, but
And
they
I mean,
have
we
a
didn't
great
go
quarterback.
we didn't go over this list, but he was my number 5 too.
Who?
Allen Robinson.
Robinson?
Because preseason he's wide receiver 11. His ADP was like 30 to 31. Right, he was going in the 3rd round. He finished ranked 53 in the position. That's awful. Like, just awful. 7.8 fantasy points per game. No thanks.
and he was in your lineup for the
Yeah,
first
you-
multiple weeks of that.
Yeah, you
of
had
that,
to
and
play him.
There was nothing. There was,
I'm just saying I don't disagree with the disappointment for 2021. I can't say never
No, I'm not going to say
on
never,
that guy
but
because he's
from
going to
last
end
year,
up somewhere. And
Yeah.
it's fine if you want to pass up on him. I'll
Yeah,
take him in the
I'll
5th or
pass him.
6th round, and he'll
Yeah.
be a
I mean,
dude
you could
with,
take him there too.
with a
That's
legit
fine.
quarterback.
I'll pass. I'll pass right now
So-
and get somebody. I'll get Robert Woods again in the 5th round when you guys just let him keep dropping to me every year.
I mean,
all right, you can have him.
I will.
who? So that was your 5, Jeff. Who else you got?
Okay. I'd say my next would be Mike Davis would be on my list as well because Mike Davis was a guy I heavily drafted in a lot of leagues, and I was really excited about the opportunity that he was going to get in Atlanta. He was, the backup for Christian McCaffrey, did very well in Carolina, but just a bad running back, and we all should have saw it coming, and we should have never bought into this dude.
I had 0 shares of Mike Davis
Yeah, you're
in
a
10
smart man.
leagues. So, yeah, he was awful.
And well, you didn't expect Cordell to have the year that he had, and I mean, him getting 10 carries out of the backfield every week isn't gonna help Mike Davis at all. And by the time he actually had a good game on the season, he was on everybody's bench or on the waiver wire. So
True.
Bad season.
It's a good call. I like that. What do you got?
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook? As a 2021 disappointment? Why?
A little bit there. I was going to pull up his numbers.
What do you think, Rick?
I mean, a little shocking. It's kind of out there. I mean, seemed like he was putting up points when I saw him. I don't know if he got injured or I don't think he got injured really.
I mean, he had a couple games that Madison had to come in and step in, but
there was one
overall,
I think
he was productive.
fully had the share there where he was out, but I think I mean serviceable. But I mean, as a top 3, you expect maybe a little more, but I probably wouldn't be too mad about it.
If this was working, I would be able to elaborate further. Jeff, go ahead.
Calvin Ridley, and I may get some shit about this because he has an undisclosed mental illness and that's kind of why I go there. Is there was no media hype whatsoever on Ridley. It was just kind of he fell off the face of the earth, but he was wide receiver 9 ADP, top 25, I think, or 29, somewhere around in there, and then just didn't have many stats to even. But was it that he's a free agent this year? He wants out of Atlanta? Or was it that he's really fighting something and nobody talks about it? I just found it really odd.
I don't think I'd put him on my list just because of the fact that he stepped away from the game. And I don't know what his reasons were to do that. And if it was a legitimate mental health issue, I'm never going to fault anybody for stepping away from the game from that. So I don't think I would put him on my list. But
well, that's good because he's on mine.
Yeah.
Not yours. All right, who you got?
I mean, Dalvin Cook finished behind Nick Chubb in fantasy points. DeAndre Swift, Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs.
DeAndre Swift went off.
No, I'm not saying that. He was Dalvin Cook's numbers were right there with Javonte Williams,
the juggernaut.
Who split
we'll talk
carries.
about him later.
But I'm just saying he split carries.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is not. He's your guy. Your dude.
Yeah, but I mean okay.
Joe Mixon put up nearly 90 more points, fantasy points.
Joe Mixon had a career year.
James Conner put up nearly 60 more fantasy
Another
points.
career year.
I'm just telling you. Leonard Fournette put up more points.
Another career year.
So in terms of fantasy, is he a first-round pick? Was Dalvin Cook?
Yes.
So would you consider that a disappointment?
With all
Go ahead. I'll wait for his answer. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm still here waiting for your answer.
With all the injuries, yeah. Because, I mean, think about all the guys that went out before him.
I mean, is 6 touchdowns enough from Dalvin Cook?
How many yards did he have?
1,100. 1,160.
Yeah, and how many receiving yards?
Oh, I don't know.
So he probably had 1,250, 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yeah, I'm going to take that. And even if he falls into a wide receiver too, because you lucked into something else, because you drafted McCaffrey or Henry that went out, then that was a pretty good option.
I'm just saying, coming out of the first round. I mean,
I'm drafting him in the first round again next year.
Would you take Zeke or him in the first round?
Cook.
And Cook finished well behind Zeke. Go ahead. I'm still taking Cook.
I'm
just telling you that was disappointing though.
Okay. I get that. I don't know if I'd say top 5, but yeah, he was. Did he have a season that it wasn't a boom season?
But then, because I know where you're going with your number 1, what's the difference?
You don't know what my number 1 is.
I do know what your number 1 is. Go ahead. All right, that was my 4. 3, okay, right. You did yours. Okay.
All right, who you got?
Number 3 will be Darren Waller, which is somebody I kind of struggled with because I don't want to fault a guy for getting injured, but to come out and get what do you have, 17 catches or something like that?
But to say
well, no, his 2020 season compared to this season, huge drop off.
Huge drop off. Like breakout, massive. You're thinking it's him, it's Kelsey, it's Kittle, and that's what you're going into this year. You're drafting him in the third round. You're wanting to get that value, that guy you're never going to have to worry about putting in that tight end slot. And, coming out as big as he did and really, I mean, it fit 50-something receptions on the year on 90-something targets.
Yeah, he was
and
terrible.
only 2 touchdowns, 600 yards, I think it was, 650 yards.
I was thinking there was times where I didn't know if he didn't play well or was hurt. You'd never heard from him.
And it felt like
there were both.
There were games that he
But I'm saying I would have never known. He could have played and not played well.
Yeah.
And I could have thought he was hurt.
That's what I was going to say. There were games where he was out there the whole game and just either got game planned out or just didn't make an impact. And you can't have that on your tight end guy that you're gonna pop in there every single week. You have to have production, or you're just better going on the waiver wire and getting a tight end, different tight end, flexing it, trying to get somebody that's going to score a touchdown for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on the injury stuff, and
yeah, like I said, I don't want to fault a guy for getting injured, but when he was out there and the big week 1 game that he had, you had so much expectations.
And I think you got to make sure, and we got to clarify, we're talking about fantasy.
Yeah,
fantasy. As it relates to fantasy.
Yeah,
and so for me, Dalvin Cook was disappointing because that's not Dalvin Cook. 200 points in fantasy is not. I mean, that's like again, Javonte Williams was 2 points back. And split time.
Quit dogging on Javonte.
I'm not. I'm just using it as an example because he shared time.
On Juggernaut.
He shared time with Melvin Gordon, did he not?
Yes.
Okay, and Dalvin Cook is the guy in Minnesota, and he put up 2 points. And I know he had a couple injuries. He had like 3 or 4 100-plus yard games.
Justin Jefferson, and he also has Adam Thielen to compete with. Okay, who did Melvin Gordon and the juggernaut Javonte Williams have to compete with? Judy was out. Cortland Sutton was a complete flop, and so was Tim Patrick.
Because they can't throw the football. Who's their quarterback? They had to run the ball. Next.
Well, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Deandre Hopkins for me.
Yeah, he was disappointing.
But it's kind of the same thing. Injured.
Big games early too. Didn't or was week 1 a bust and then kind of I'm trying to recall right now. I think it was like week 1 bust, a couple good games, and then just kind of nothing for the rest of the season. And I felt like James Conner took over that team, and they were just going through him and letting Kyler kind of just.
Didn't you pick somebody on their waiver too that got kind of hot for a couple weeks?
Rondo Moore.
Yeah, that was you, right?
Yeah, he's a good dynasty pick, by the way.
Is that where you got him in dynasty? Mm-hmm. I didn't remember.
All right, my third one is Russell Wilson. Huge flop. And in return, DK Metcalf, also huge flop.
Yeah, they kind of go hand.
I mean, Lockett had some good games, but when you're Russell Wilson making that kind of money and you finish, 16 in the QB category, awful. And what happened? The Seahawks fell off the map too. And he missed some games with the dislocated finger, but even when he was there, 25 touchdowns in this environment, terrible.
And for him.
Yeah. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But he had a horrible year.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about usually a top 5 quarterback out of the draft.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. And not going back to Hopkins, not that you had here it is, 8 touchdowns, but yeah, 570 yards. It looks like he missed, I think, 5 games. So,
but down the stretch, he killed everybody.
Yeah, he missed the last 4 too. So again, it's kind of an injury-prone season. So his start wasn't awful, but maybe that's what it is. Just the injuries, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So but that's the thing. Like he's a guy you're still going to go get. Mm-hmm. You're not going to leave him on the table.
So my next would be Antonio Gibson, and the way I think about Gibson this year was another guy highly drafted, 2nd round. If you went wide receiver in that 1st round and needed a guy that was going to be your running back, you were pretty disappointed. And, a couple good games, didn't know if he was going to be injured most of the season. He went into every single game questionable because I had him in a league. And you kind of felt better making other plays. McKissick was still it's McKinnon, Jerick McKinnon, not McKissick.
No, McKissick.
It's McKissick?
Yeah, McKinnon was with Kansas City.
Too many McKinnon. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
McLovin.
Yeah.
Call him McLovin for now.
There you go. Him catching all the balls that he did. And, wasn't Gibson a wide receiver in college? Didn't he catch?
Idea.
I thought he caught the ball a ton in college.
He caught the ball a lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they were comparing him to McCaffrey coming out of the draft. And I love Antonio Gibson. You guys know that. Mm-hmm. I had a ton of shares of him. And great call because he was extremely disappointing. But no quarterback play, killed his, and then the shin, the nagging shin injury. Yeah, good call on that. I agree. I'm not going to agree with you, though. What's your next one?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I agree.
He finished behind every rookie.
He sucks, dude.
I think this is more our league kind of specific because we do play Superflex. I don't think Baker Mayfield was rostered and drafted in a ton of standard
Probably
leagues, to
not.
be honest.
That's true.
Yeah.
But he's still disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off the year that he took
And I didn't even
the
take that
Browns
into
to
consideration.
the playoffs and won a playoff game the first time in 26 years or something like that.
I guess even as a player,
Yeah, he's
disappointing. Because I liked him out of college. And I thought that was a good fit. You know what I mean? He plays with some swagger, and I like that.
Yeah.
And he did have a good first year, and he's got weapons. There's no excuse for it.
Agreed.
For me, and I didn't even think about the way we have our league set up. That he's probably not even on anybody's rosters in most fantasy leagues.
I don't understand how you have a guy like Odell Beckham on your team and just
don't
find a way to get on the ball. I don't know if they just didn't get along or what was going on there, but I just don't understand how you do not get him the ball as much as you can, and because he's going to make you look amazing as a quarterback.
You're not going to get a contract extension by not throwing the ball to Odell Beckham when you have a weapon like that. That's a horrible way of thinking.
If that's, that's for me. And I guess, Jeff, you're right. In our league, there was another guy I had on the list that I thought was as from last year to this year was Chase Claypole. I thought he was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Considering,
you could throw Juju in there too.
Sure.
Yeah, super disappointing.
But he really didn't have a good season prior either. He's back-to-back years where he struggled.
Well, he got injured mid-season too.
Deontay Johnson is the guy there.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Claypole seemed so explosive in his rookie year.
He did.
You were excited, and I made a dynasty trade for him. I made a dynasty trade for him, and I was super excited about it. And then kind of really nothing this year. So we'll have to see what happens. Especially
he's not done.
No, I'm not.
Claypole's he's gonna have a bounce back year. They need a quarterback.
Well, and that's going to be interesting in Pittsburgh. I was told you earlier we need to keep an eye on that with them getting hiring Brian Flores. I know that they were making a move in Miami for Deshaun Watson. So does Pittsburgh go make that move, or does Mason Rudolph get an opportunity? To me, I'm going to find a quarterback.
I would go find a quarterback. My number 2 would be Saquon Barkley. Horrible. There's not even much to say. I think, he was drafted in the first, early second, and complete and utter flop. Just awful season. I don't know if they just didn't use him, if he was still hurt, but he just didn't look good.
Well,
when he did run, or when he was playing, he didn't look good.
Yeah, well, I messed up. Barkley was my number 2. Baker was my 1. But you're right, 100%.
Yeah, he was awful.
I think... Is part of that the coaching staff?
I think
it's
that's
like
what
everything in New York was a dumpster fire.
But
they got Dable now. So going into that, and I picked these guys hoping that these are potential bounce back that could be booms, right? They were busts this year in a sense, but they could be booms.
Well, it's not like Saquon drops. If he's not a first rounder, he's getting picked up a second round pick. He's not.
I'm not picking him in the second.
I would.
There's no way. No way.
I might do it again this coming year. I did it this past year. Actually felt really good about it. Ended up trading him. I can't remember 2 and 4, but yeah.
I'm not giving up on him just yet. Sorry.
If he's there in the 5th, I'll take him.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not spending any stock on him in the first 4. There's way.
No way he will be around in the 5th. No way.
No way.
Good. You guys take him.
We will.
And remember this feeling.
I'll remember. I'll text you the confetti again.
Moving on. Last one. Corn Dog, go.
Number 1. Trey Lance, heavily drafted, expected to take over the job, and played 1 game.
Are you trying to start shit, Jeff?
With Raider Nation, or not Raider,
just
Niner
in
Nation?
General. He didn't play, though.
Drafted heavily, expected to take over the job early on in the season.
Jordan Love's a disappointment.
Well, Jordan Love's terrible, though. I mean,
He was drafted in the first round.
no, I'm talking about fantasy though. I mean, like Trey Lance had like 60% ownership, roster ownership.
But everybody knew that Garoppolo was going to play.
Yeah, for the first 2 weeks, and you expected him to play bad and then Lance to come into the picture. And I mean, I drafted him in some leagues. I drafted him in Dynasty League. I'm super stoked about him in Dynasty, but this year, I mean, guy didn't play, and he could have, and he was heavily drafted, and it was a wasted draft spot.
If you're in a dynasty, no. But
not in a dynasty. And in redrafts,
most leagues,
absolutely.
Yeah.
If you drafted him, the time he did get to play, he was not on your team because you didn't keep him for that long. And it wasn't like he played that great. I mean, I think he broke 20 on a 6-point touchdown.
Was I intrigued by Trey Lance? Yes. Mm-hmm. Was I disappointed? No. He's a rookie. Garoppolo's at the end of the rope, and they make a march into the to the NFC Championship game. But I mean, they started out horrible. The Niners did, and they made that huge run. But I think Lance is. I think 2022, you're going to be real happy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not disappointed. I mean, he's a rookie.
Not at my note. I would. Well, that's okay. So you went backwards because Robinson was your top.
I mean, I would think Robinson.
So
would be,
for him, we're doing this the other way around. So I mean, I guess
in general, all these guys were disappointing to me for sure because I did draft.
He's got them in a cluster. It's not to scale,
sure,
but they're in a cluster.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I have the same kind of thing. I got guys that I didn't rank, but that where I would I think we both had Galladay on there.
At one point, I had Galladay. He's awful.
He got paid.
But my last one's McCaffrey. 1.1, drafting 1 overall. Never, ever, ever again. I've done it the last 2 years. Complete.
Wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
You're going to draft him number 1?
Jeff, make sure I get the first pick of the draft. Why not? Why would I not draft him 1?
Because he can't stay on the field the last 2 years because maybe it's overutilization. We were talking about Debo a lot. What did McCaffrey do in his first couple years?
But you were for that.
Absolutely berserk. He went bananas all over.
You're not for that in fantasy.
No, I'm for that. But what I don't like is this. When this happens to a guy I like and I draft, and it continues to happen.
Team.
And when I luck into the number 1 pick, and every year I take McCaffrey.
I don't take him first overall. I'm just dicking around with you. I'm just messing.
All right.
With you.
Well,
I don't.
I'm done with him as number 1 overall, and I'm done with him in the first round. And you guys can call me crazy. He's not in my top 10.
Jeff, do you have any comments for that?
Again, another injured guy, but 2 years in a row now. Scary to take 1-1. I'm not going to take him 1-1 next year.
But it was an ankle, right? It's not like it's not like it was a knee.
I think it was 2 different issues, right?
Was it?
I don't think it was the same
hamstring,
thing. Yeah,
and an ankle.
He's had a hammy before. He's had that happen before. I think it was last year too.
Nagging injury.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other one was an ankle. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too concerned about that. The hammy is a little.
So no more for CMC. But that does bring up a question that I had. Cooper Kupp, 1 overall. What do you guys think on anybody taking Cooper Kupp 1 overall? You guys taking Cooper Kupp 1 overall?
No.
So I have a thought, and
well, tell us.
Depending on format, if you're gonna go, full PPR, you're gonna have 3 wide receivers. You're gonna, I don't hate it. I really don't, and it's just positional scarcity. He is a monster of a fantasy player. Does disappear at times, but I don't hate it.
He doesn't disappear often.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it in our league. I don't hate it in maybe a little more wide receiver heavy PPR league. I don't hate it. I mean, there's a case for it.
Well, that's why I brought it up. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jake?
I probably don't take him.
Antonio Brown went 1-1 in our league, our league that we do a couple years ago. I mean, it was probably 6 years ago in his prime, and nobody faulted Hoser for doing that. And I feel like the same thing with Cooper Kupp is happening right now, where he is just that dynamic and can really can change your team because they just does.
He's going to get targets.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like there's too many bell cows that don't share carries that have to go in front of him. Because then if you're picking 1 overall and you get to 20, 21, there's no running backs left.
You see, that's why I feel like formats takes precedent in that, because you can get some of these guys, these little scat backs, that you can take in the later rounds that you can fill in your team, that you're not really going to be missing one of these bell cows if you get somebody like Cooper Kupp on your team.
Yeah. But, I mean, an injury to him is like completely
devastating,
dismantling.
Mm-hmm.
But also
on your roster if you take him 1 overall.
I'm just going to
there's a lot of good wide receivers now. That position is starting to really supersede the running back position. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. The way the league is going, for sure, is
on the way our league's set up.
For sure, yeah.
Wide receivers are monsters. You got to have them.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, how much did he benefit from Woods going down too?
I mean, he was still putting up points then.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just, there is a side to that
it helps.
Maybe we're not seeing either. Woods going down. I mean, Beckham comes to town and what did he put up, like 8 touchdowns in 7 weeks or something like that? Like,
yeah, but Kupp was getting his share too.
Yeah.
Sure, and then you add Woods to that mix.
Well, Woods is never a touch T kind of guy either, though. So I could see him not having to
just something to think about.
TVs,
that's all. It's just something to think about.
Well, I don't think there's any way that you see those 3 in the same jersey next year. There's just no way.
Well, it does a free agent, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think he comes back.
I don't either.
I see him going and getting paid as much as he can right now. So
yeah, well, somebody's going to give him more than a 1-year deal.
Rams aren't going to be able to afford that. So
no. I it could happen though, and I don't think I would hate on somebody that it did. I mean, it's not like you're not getting a good player, and you're going to get targets. It's one of the like when I'm wavering guys, that's one of the first things I look at. I don't even give a shit about maybe all the yards or something, but if they're equal in yards, who's got the targets? I'm going to go with the guy who's got the targets. So that's where it's a good topic. It's something we'll just have to wait and see how the drafts go. And again, I think format, like Jeff said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd fault anybody for it. It's just it's risky.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like a standard to half PPR. I'm not doing it. But there are cases where I think I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't.
And if he wasn't my first receiver off the board, he's my second, no question about it. Yeah. I mean, but
and you better be a Rams fan too if you're doing that, because
I don't think you got to limit it to that. But like again, even with you were talking about your top 10, that also depends on where I'm drafting. Right? If I'm drafting 10, I might be able to flip around and get him.
Well, what are your top 10?
What are your top 10? I don't love my top. I'll be honest, I'm not in love with my top 10 there. The other thing we discussed a little bit was kind of breakout guys too.
Rah, 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 rah. Ross St. Brown?
It's my guy, bro.
That's your boy.
It's my guy.
You love him on Ross St. Brown.
It was lucky. That's all. That was lucky, by the way. Pure luck. And that was Dynasty too. $1.
That's a good hit, though.
I hope so.
He was great. Darnell Mooney, man. Darnell Mooney, if Allen Robinson is gone, Darnell Mooney's going to keep putting up numbers. It's a big one. Who else you got? You got any breakouts?
I like Waddle, too. I'm just saying he wasn't a guy that was on the top of everybody's radar this year. Just stop it. Stop it.
Bro.
They don't even use this logo. If they want to win, they'll go back to Miami. Will go back to this.
I hope they do,
school
man.
Helmet.
I hope they go back to the old logo.
That'll help.
But Jalen Waddle was from the get a stud.
I think it's time for you to get into your Javonte Williams. You've been preaching about how you're going to get into Javonte Williams and how Javonte Williams.
Okay, well I can do that. I mean,
go ahead.
Denver. Okay, so here's a couple things on that. Denver has 3. Actually, they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Okay, they are going to get Aaron Rodgers, and they're probably going to get Davante Adams. And, I mean, it's way too early. We can do this right now.
Sure.
So this is why I'm saying I think he's going to Denver, and a lot of reports keep coming out that Denver wants him. Okay, if he wants out of Green Bay, Denver's got the money, they've got some tools to get rid of, and they've got draft picks.
Yeah, that's what Green Bay.
So a lot of people don't have the stock that they have to bring Rodgers and Adams. So if that happens, and I really do think that Aaron Rodgers, if he leaves Green Bay, I think the landing spot for me is Denver. And I've been saying that for a month. Okay? If that happens, Javonte is going to go crazy. He's going to go crazy. No matter who the quarterback is, he's going to have a great year anyway. But if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, it's a no-brainer. And Melvin Gordon is gone. And he's got young legs, and he runs mad.
I just don't know. I don't know if Green Bay is going to let Davante go.
I think Rodgers and Davante will be broken up this year. I don't think Rodgers will be in Green Bay. I think Davante probably stays because.
So they're going to franchise tag him?
Yeah, I think so.
And they're going to force him into staying?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Still going to get 20-something mil,
Yeah.
21, 20 million.
Yeah.
And I think Rodgers is going somewhere that you guys have not talked about yet. So I think he is going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
I mean, I mentioned to you that I brought that up to you before. I don't think we've talked about it on.
Yeah, I haven't heard you talk about it on air. So I have this feeling that Rodgers maybe needs somebody to take the spotlight from him. And I think Mike Tomlin is the guy to do that because Mike is a good, face of the franchise. I think he is a very well-respected coach in the NFL. And I think that is somebody that kind of needs to be there. And Rodgers kind of, maybe needs to be there as well. And they've got the weapons around him that he wants. They've got a running back. They've got great wide receivers. Probably need a better O-line to protect him a little more. But, as far as I know, they got the cap space and they're not really paying anybody right now. So why not go get a guy like that? And it's a great, great football town, just like Green Bay is. So,
I mean, I don't hate the call. I don't. I could see it happening. But the issue that I would have is I don't think they have the draft picks that Denver has. Mm-hmm. Denver has a lot of clout right now to get whatever they want. And if they use it wisely, they're going to get Rodgers. And they're going to push really, really heavy on Adams. And they might have to give up a ton. But they've got two wide receivers, Sutton and Patrick, that they could easily give up.
I think the thing with Adams is you got to get what you can right now, the most value for them. And so let's say he stays and Green Bay sucks behind Jordan Love.
They will.
Mm-hmm.
Does his value drop a little bit? Is he as dynamic? Every receiver needs a good quarterback,
mm-hmm.
right? So, but does that kill some of his trade value?
I mean, I don't think Green Bay is going to just stick with Jordan Love. I think they're going to go out and get somebody else.
And I said that too.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So that's the thing. I heard Russell Wilson was in talks over there.
I think Russ either goes there or Tampa Bay, to be honest.
But also then...
You want to bring Wilson back to Wisconsin. I mean,
why not?
He's got ties there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good call too. But
I think you're right on... I don't think Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay.
I don't think so.
I think the money, and that's more of a business move than anything. Although I'm hearing reports that Green Bay is all in on him, so I don't know. Don't know.
It's going to come down to a personal choice. If he wants out, they're going to let him out.
Honestly, I think I wonder if Green Bay does stay with, do they just destroy a long-term, is rebuilding the right move for them? I honestly kind of think it is.
I mean, you got A.J. Dillon now, You got a guy you can build around.
You've got a pretty good defense. You've got a good O-line.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some weapons. I mean, it's not a complete rebuild.
Defense is good too.
Yeah, they are good. But, I mean, a complete rebuild? No. They're not going to do that.
And I just think also the only other thing with Rodgers not going is there's nothing in the draft that says that screams this is our
Go get
franchise
this guy,
quarterback.
yeah.
Right.
It's like we might as well bite the bullet and pay and still try to win now.
I think that's going to make teams more willing to give up those draft capital
To go get a guy like that.
Go
Absolutely,
get him.
I
Go
agree.
get Wilson. Go get any
When
of the
they
guys.
can see the
Yeah.
future of this franchise is rebuilding, and we want to win now, let's make the deal. Well, we don't have nothing to lose. We want to win.
Yeah, see,
Denver.
I like Denver. I think that's like you said. It's as far as business goes, they have everything needed to make a move like that and make a big time splash. They do.
Yeah.
They have the picks. They have players.
And they don't have to pay Javonte yet. So he's got a lot to prove. So he's running mad. And now,
well, and how much is Mel? If you wanted to keep Gordon,
I think he's like on an $8 or $10 million
it's
deal.
Not. It's not. It sounds stupid to say, right?
Yeah.
It sounds.
It's
dumb.
just $8 million.
Just $8 million.
It's easy.
I'll never make that in my lifetime. But as far as NFL goes and guys making big money, it's not unreasonable to pay that guy and keep two good backs and continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah. I think they get rid of him.
But then you go
They're
look at the
gonna free up
Rams,
even more space.
and the Rams won a Super Bowl with no running game and defense, and some playmakers on offense, a couple play. But I mean, they can't run the football,
No,
so
they can't. And Cam Akers isn't the answer. I've gotten some heat on that, but he averaged 2.5 yards per carry in the playoffs when he came back. And, I mean, did he come back too early?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, Achilles is tough to come back, even
absolutely.
a year from when it happens, let alone 8 to 9 months or 6 months or whatever it was. I mean, it's
Right.
yeah, he shouldn't have came back.
So I had a way too early playoff prediction that I wanted to throw by you guys. Okay. So I've got mine, and I'm going to go through all the divisions. I'm going to just go full playoffs, and I'm going to predict the Super Bowl too, because it's February and we can change and all that good stuff. So in the West, I got KC. In the North, I got Cincy. In the South, I got the Titans. East, I have the Bills. And wild card, I've got Denver and Aaron Rodgers. And I've got the Chargers, and I got the Colts. 2 bubble teams, I've got the Ravens and my Dolphins. And I'm not doing that as a homer pick. I think Mike McDaniel has a ton of money to spend, the most in the NFL, with the salary cap. They're going to use it. So hopefully they make the playoffs, but they're on the bubble right now. NFC, I got the Niners in the West, the Bucks in the South, the Vikings in the North because Rodgers is gone, and I've got Dallas in the East, the Rams, the Packers, and the Eagles all as wild cards. Super Bowl, Josh Allen versus Tom Brady, and Tom Brady loses, and so do the Niners. So I'm going Bills, Niners, and TB12 loses his 4th Super Bowl with the Niners.
I like it. I think Tom Brady's going to retire, so I don't think the Niners will make the Super Bowl. But hey,
would you get Gray's Sports Almanac or what?
No, I got Biff's. Biff has a sports almanac. Come on, bro.
yeah, that's
That's what it's called.
That's the Gray's Sports
it's
Almanac.
called
Yeah.
Gray's
Yeah.
Sports Almanac. Come on,
that
dog.
Biff stole from
Biff.
Marty.
That's right.
Yeah, and took the time machine back to 1950.
Who were your wild cards again?
Wild cards, I got Denver, Chargers, and the Colts.
In the AFC.
Yeah, Denver, Chargers, and Colts. And then Rams, Packers, Eagles. Because the Packers are going to get a quarterback, I agree, and it's not going to be Love.
You don't think the Raiders are going to make another run?
No,
And you're not in with New England?
absolutely not. I think New England lucked out this year, and Mac Jones, good play caller, good football player, not great.
Okay, and in the NFC you had who?
Wild card,
Yeah.
Rams, Packers, Eagles.
Do you have the Packers in the wild card?
Yeah,
So who's going to win the North?
the Vikings. The Vikings should have made the playoffs this
You're
year.
assuming that Rodgers is not with Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's February. We can change, and we will change. But the way too early playoff prediction.
The Jeffrey way.
Yeah. Got to give myself an out.
I I honestly, I'm. Where are you at? Did you have Dallas in there? Are you in or out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got Dallas.
Okay, and you've got the Niners going to the Super Bowl losing.
To Josh Allen and the Bills.
I'm going Bills in the Super Bowl, and that's just it. They're going to win.
You don't know who they're going to play.
Nope,
Well, you don't even like football. You don't even like.
I do. I'm just going Bills. I'm going Bills.
All right. So Bills by themselves. They're not going to play anybody.
No. I don't know. If I had to pick, I don't know. I would say Niners or Rams.
Okay, which one?
I'm gonna
take the Rams.
I'm gonna say the Rams. I'll
Okay,
go the
good.
Rams then.
Good.
That's what you want me to do. Rams.
Corn dog. What do you
Because
got?
I'll just change it in 7 months anyways.
In the West, AFC, I got the Chiefs and the Chargers going through. The North, I have the Steelers and the Bengals going through, and that's, dependent on Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. In the South, the Titans are the lone, and then the East, I got the Bills and the Pats going through. And Mac Jones is the truth. He is the real deal.
The truth?
The truth.
No way.
Is that his nickname now? Mac
I mean, that's what I'm calling him.
Absolutely not. He is not the truth.
I mean,
And he
he's
is
going to
not
be
the real deal.
He's going to be the second coming of Phillip Rivers. Excuse me. I'm telling you.
Phillip
Statue
Rivers?
back there, but can throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure it matters. That's why they play.
I mean, Belichick's going to retire in a couple of years anyway, so I don't think that really matters to them. So
We don't know if he's the truth yet.
I think he's irrelevant because they will not get him wide receivers, and they keep drafting wide receivers that suck, like N'Keal Harry. He sucks.
He does suck. Yes.
He had a good year. I'm not going to hate on him. He had a good rookie season. But the truth, Jeff.
The truth, yeah. I like it.
Gabe, if you're listening,
No way.
I mean,
There
I
you
tried
go,
to
buddy.
I tried to trade Gabe in Dynasty for Mac Jones literally every week. So yeah, I'm buying in for sure.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying it, but the truth is a bit. He's
I mean,
All right,
unproven.
what do you got in the NFC?
I got
Unproven.
NFC. In the West, Niners, Rams, of course, and the Cards. I got the Cards going. I mean,
Oh, they're a bubble team. I had
Yeah.
I had the Cards and Saints as bubble teams.
I'm a little nervous about what's going on with Kyler, but I think they'll get that figured out. In the South, I got the Saints being the only team going through there. The North, the Vikings, only team there, and then the East, I have the Cowboys and the Washington Generals, right?
Commander.
Commander, excuse me. Yes, sorry.
Híjole, Jeffrey.
The football team.
Híjole, Jeffrey. Washington.
Commander.
Commanders.
I like.
But who's going to be their quarterback?
I mean, Heineke.
Me?
Heineke's out there, slinging it around. So
No.
you got to love that. But he's
Dude.
not going to be the guy. He won't be the guy. No, I know.
I'm tired of hearing the swagger and moxie. I like the story. I like Heineke. I like it. But you know what? No.
He's not the guy.
He's not an answer. He's not the truth.
No,
He played
At all.
pretty
I didn't
well.
say it
though.
was the truth.
He played okay.
No, I mean,
You know you were going to hit that waiver for him, Jeff. Stop it. I know you were interested.
I mean, we all talked about our love for Antonio Gibson here. I love the defense. I mean, Chase Young is a superstar, and unfortunately, he got injured this year. So I think that defense will be a lot better. They have a lot of good pieces. Didn't play well this year, and
I agree with that.
Do they go draft another quarterback?
Probably not this year. Maybe get somebody. I don't know.
They're in the hunt for somebody.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it wasn't.
Where are they at in the draft slot? Where do they draft? Do you know? I should look that up. Because
It's
I was
low.
thinking about
Who do you got in the Super Bowl though?
I have the Steelers versus the Rams.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
These
probably
are the way too early NFL
Yeah.
playoff
yes.
predictions.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
are.
this is not going to age well. I can tell
I
you
am
that.
all in on Rodgers going to Pittsburgh, to be honest. So, yeah, I think.
we're gonna do a side bet lunch
Okay.
that he's going to Denver or he stays in Green Bay. He doesn't leave Green Bay unless he goes to Denver. And you're saying Steelers. Mm-hmm. Jake, what are your playoff predictions?
I was right on line with you. I just have the Rams losing to the Bills in the Super Bowl.
So all the same teams.
Yep. I didn't even look. Lazy reporting. So the Washington Commanders have the 11th pick.
They're not going to use it on a quarterback.
Do you trade up and go get the kid from Pitt?
Maybe with the Texans, who have the 3 pick. Yeah.
But that's what they need, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that would be smart for sure.
But I mean, I'm saying Houston's not going to probably part ways with that.
I don't think so, especially if Watson's on his way out, which
They know what
seems like it's gonna
that's what it
happen,
seems
so.
like. So
Yeah.
So then maybe the Washington's not making a move there.
Who knows? But I mean, there's multiple quarterbacks, it seemed like, that are on the block this year that, I mean, I've heard Carson Wentz is on the move, and I've heard a lot of different things. So it's just, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, anybody can go.
I think Indy's just a quarterback away, maybe a wide receiver away from being a team to
They're going to make the playoffs next
compete.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys asked me about a breakout earlier. Michael Pittman was great this year, but I think he could even go even further up that echelon, and
I agree,
and really, really break out and kind of go into that maybe top 5 category, top 8 category. So, top 3, Cox. What do you think?
No,
Okay.
No, don't try to trade him to me.
I will try to trade him, and I will say that exact thing to you next year. So,
Yeah. he'll
So
play
we
that
got
shit up.
we have something we've been talking about that we'll end the show with this last segment. It's called dropping a heater. You want to explain what dropping a heater is, Jake?
If you don't know what dropping a heater is, Google it.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? I'm going to do it now and see if there's even an answer for that. Google dropping a heater. Scro, do you know what that is?
I mean, saying something or just I don't know, dropping a heater.
Dropping a heater slang. Do you have any? Pinch a loaf. Take a dump.
There you go. So
we're gonna take a dump. Everybody's gonna take a dump right now.
So
Google,
this
that's
is
the
gonna
Urban
be,
Dictionary. Pinch a loaf.
Yeah. Right. So this will be the drop a heater section. Okay. And this is just anything in the news that we need to just shit on. Okay, because there's some things. I've got one. Okay, and this one is just crazy. But Juwan Howard, right, and Greg Gard. Juwan Howard basically, I mean, just was an idiot. Did you guys see it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saw it.
Yeah, you can't be punching another.
I didn't know about it until you text me.
Yeah, and he provoked it. Mm-hmm. And he was mad because they had their replacements in, okay? And there was 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And they were pressing him, and they're up by like 15 or 16. I don't know exactly how much they're up, but he was mad because they called timeout. And they called timeout to reset the shot clock or the inbound clock to 10, right? Because they're pressing him. And he's furious after the game. And he said, "I'll remember this shit next year." Right? And then he grabs his collar. The guy tries to grab his arm and say like, "Hey, this is what's going on." And he grabs his collar, and then he tells him, "Well, don't fucking touch me."
Yeah.
And then he ends up hitting a grad assistant. And now he's suspended for 5 games and the rest of the regular season. So Juwan Howard, I'm dropping a heater.
On you. You can't do that shit, man. He was pissed. That's what it was. He was just mad.
He pissed.
He was mad they were losing. Mad they were going to lose. It's just a competitive thing, in the moment thing.
Yeah.
His actions, you can't do that stuff. I hope he doesn't get fired. I don't think he should lose his job over it. I'm not one of those guys. Really, you think he should be fired for it?
I mean, it's conduct that you shouldn't be doing as a coach. So I've never seen really anything like that before, to be honest. So, I mean,
at the end of a basketball game,
at the end of
that was irrelevant. Like, you're not making the dance. You're not going to win your conference championship. You're not going to win that.
Okay,
so
but what's does he have a history of this behavior? What do most people say about Juwan Howard? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about him to be able to comment.
He's always been characterized as a very classy individual and held in very high regard.
Yeah, so he made a mistake.
Exactly.
But
Bobby Knight made numerous mistakes.
But a little different era. Bobby Knight would have been fired.
Okay, but
50
he was
times.
Bobby
what I'm
Knight
saying-
should have been fired multiple times.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I agree, but
Should he
anyway.
be fired? Should he lose his job? Then why suspend him? If you're going to fire the guy, don't suspend him. Just fire him.
He's probably not going to get fired.
I don't think he should.
Well, did the NCAA suspend him, or was it the team?
Who knows?
I think the NCAA.
Okay.
I agree with that 100%. I think the whole year,
Absolutely.
tournament, all of it. The Big 12 or
Well, we
Big
don't have
10
to worry
tournament.
about the tournament.
Just saying if they play in the Big 10, they shouldn't. No. Shouldn't be allowed for 2022 or 21 season for him's over.
Agreed.
Yeah. You got to pay some type of price. I mean, there's got to be some kind of precedent set. But to lose your job, like we've never fucked up, you've never made a mistake, you've never done something you regret.
Everything was under control to a sense before he swung.
Well, and I've seen some
Okay,
people
then
talking
it went
about
crazy.
it, and they're saying they keep saying that the coach of Wisconsin provoked it, and I'm like, well, no. If you watch the video, Juwan Howard pulls his mask down and says something to him,
Yeah.
and he stops him to try to explain. He wasn't just let him walk off with the last word, not knowing or
He was going to
understanding
explain
why.
what happened.
Yeah.
And why he did what he did.
So-
and Juwan Howard wanted no part of it.
Because people are saying, well, the Wisconsin coach should be held responsible too, and I'm like, for what? For what?
I mean, he backed out of the pile.
So you're telling your guys to stop competing, whether there's 4 seconds left or not. If I'm down, in a baseball game, 10-0, and we're in the 7th, I still got to go get 3 outs. We still have to make pitches.
Absolutely.
So you're not stopping.
No.
That's not how you coach. So I don't know what whatever.
Yeah, if I'm an amateur athlete, I'm never stopping, never laying off the gas if I'm out there doing that. And as an amateur athlete, for
Right.
sure, never.
Jeff, do you want to drop a heater on you?
Drop a heater on fucking, what's his face? Fucking stupid Vladimir Putin for invading Ukraine today. I think that happened.
Did it happen
right?
today?
I think it happened today.
Had it on the
So
screen.
let's drop a big fat dump on that idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's
not much else to comment.
No.
I mean,
No.
you're absolutely right. We
Yeah.
can dump a heater on him.
drop a big one heater. Taco
Yeah.
Bell heater.
I'll get some on the way home, guys.
What do you got, Jake?
I have a couple. My first one's Flex Seal. Okay. I seen a commercial. I seen the commercial. This dude chops a boat in half and throws some Flex Seal tape on that shit. And then he's out there just wheeling it around. Have you seen the video? I sent you the video, right?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I think I did.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Jeff, did I hear? And I've got the audio for it.
And perhaps what's most amazing is this.
I sawed this boat in half and repaired it with only flex tape. The inside is completely dry. Yeah, doggy!
Fuck that guy. There's no way.
That's not going to work.
There's no way I'm dropping a heater on Flex Seal tape unless you want to sponsor the podcast and send me some stuff. Yeah, I'm dropping a heater on that round one.
All right. What about the 155 player potential boycott of the NFL Combine because of the bubble rules?
You see this, Jeff?
I did see this. Yeah, this came out today. I think the NFL does what they want to do, and they want to make sure that the public has a good image of them right now. And the fact that they don't do anything during the Super Bowl or have any of this type of bubble for playoffs or anything else, and then try to implement this to the guys coming into the NFL is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. Also, though, the agents that are doing this, the NFL Combine, you got to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essential. You got to be there. You got to do the face-to-face. You can only get so much in video, right? So this whole concept is just dumb. Like, have a conversation.
Do you have to be there in order to get drafted?
No.
No.
It's not required, right?
No, you can still get
I
drafted.
mean, if I'm the Heisman Trophy winner and I don't want to deal with this shit, I'm not going. If I don't like it, I'm not doing it. Why? They're going to draft me. You're not going to draft me because I didn't go to the Combine?
No, fair enough. But I just think the whole concept is dumb.
I mean, you kind of look
I mean, the rules are
Maybe not,
lax
it's
now.
not a great look. I'll say that.
I mean, NFL not looking good is something that they do very well.
true.
So
It's true. They do
we're
it to
going to let the
themselves
NFL to try to
so
posture.
I'm dropping a heater on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't like it either. I don't know. I didn't get that. I would like to see those guys. Do you see all the top draft picks or projected draft picks boycott that?
Well, maybe.
Well, there's 155, so there's got to be some big names in there.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I'm with you. I like it.
I'd like to see the list.
I'm sure it'll come out at some point. I
mean,
you're going to know it's the first. It's a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
March, first week of March.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I mean, with baseball having issues right now, I could see this affecting the CBA in a couple of years too, with this type of stuff, and NFL trying to,
I mean, there's already a lockout, so we're already there with
I
baseball. Yeah, football's.
Drop a heater on that too.
Yeah.
Hey, go watch college baseball. There was a lot on TV this weekend. There's going to be a lot, apparently, this season of college baseball.
That's good.
Go support college baseball. I saw Mississippi State. The weekend attendance against Long Beach was 34,000 plus
Wow.
for college baseball
great.
for a weekend. That's insane.
That's awesome.
So, Jeff, you dropping more heaters or are you sticking it to Putin?
I'm just going to, let's take another dump
Round two on Putin?
Round two on
All
Putin.
right.
Let's do it.
It's cool.
What about you?
The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl should be on a Saturday, not on a Sunday.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, because I had basically my whole crew not show up to work on Monday,
That's your own downfall.
and that happens every year.
All my crew showed up.
Well, you don't have a crew.
I've got a pretty big crew.
Well, I mean, you're not manufacturing anything.
No, I'm moving product.
Well, I don't see any.
You wouldn't. It's under the radar. How about dropping a heater on the transgender swimmer?
Whoa, like that though? Like literally on the swimmer or on the idea?
The idea, not necessarily the person, but the idea of the transgender swimmer and the accomplishments that have happened lately. Any thoughts on that?
Whatever mark they hit was still 20 seconds under the college world record for women. So, is it that much of an issue? Are they really, really taking out the competition for the women? You got to put it in context. This was an Ivy League school. That's not the best competition in swimming. I have a feeling that I don't want to separate it because that's where you get into a segregation as kind of part of it, where it seems like this is, getting back to, how baseball dealt with black players and whatnot, how you can have your own league, but it's your league, you're not gonna be able to play with us. And that's kind of how,
that's not the same thing to me. Because it's purely based on the color of somebody's skin, not their genetics, as far as how they're built.
But now, see, we're getting into a different thing in transgenderism, and I'm really not equipped to have this conversation. And to be completely honest, I don't think either one of you are equipped to have it as well.
Oh,
So,
we can definitely have an opinion for sure.
Yeah,
There's no doubt.
there's an opinion, but
And
I'm equipped for any conversation.
this is watch your lips.
No, listen. I have no problem with a transgender athlete, anybody transgender. Period. But I mean, you see the tweets out there. What was she ranked prior to becoming a female swimmer for Penn? She was originally a male swimmer for Penn,
468
and now
as
is
a male swimmer, and now number one in the nation.
So see, there's not a female swimmer that's transgendering to a male that's going to make that type of leap, correct?
No.
So and then she won the Ivy League
Yeah.
championship by 7 seconds.
And I read an article that she held back also in that.
I think
It could have done-
I think it
But
needs to
here's
be
the thing.
addressed. I think something needs to be done.
It ignites fairness debate.
It
And
does.
it's not about
It does.
personal choice of whatever you are identifying as. That I don't have any issue with
It's
that.
not-
That's
that's
not
not what it
for
is.
me to judge. I'm not saying that.
It's that there's a
but I'm
number of
talking about
athletes-
igniting fairness with Title IX.
Right.
Okay. So the rules were written, and now it's starting to become something we have to look at again. Right? Because is it fair?
I mean, no. To me, it's not. It's like that the female fighter that fought the transgender fighter, and she got her ass kicked. Of course.
I honestly, I don't think it's fair, and I feel that comes from more of the spirit of the competition aspect of it because, I mean, I'm trying to skirt around this a little bit because, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you got to be a little politically correct with it.
Because, I'm gender, to me is just a construct, whatever, that's just whatever, if you're transgender,
if you're happy, you're happy. Man. That's where I look at it.
That's none of my business whatsoever.
I get that, but I think as far as fairness is concerned.
And the fairness of the competition, I feel like maybe I have a little bit of qualms about it, but I think we can go about it in a fair way, and there's co-ed sports already. There's basketball teams out there. There's softball, baseball teams out there that are co-ed, and I think implementing that into.
But you can't win a national championship doing that.
Sure. Well, that's where it gets into like rewriting Title IX. Maybe colleges can kind of more implement these type of co-ed sports instead of gendering everything. All the time where it's like I kind of correlated with the Oscars as well. Why do they do gender awards at the Oscars? Is it just to make more money to do more ad time, or ad space? Like what is the reason why they gender those awards?
It's a good question.
Good question. I don't know either.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe, you want to give equal representation to everybody in a college, setting,
because somebody's going to complain about, why did the male actor win all the time? Why does, I
mean, but is that the case though? Like, would that always be the case?
It'd be the other way around if it wasn't. So now you're going to stagger who wins every year based on gender. You're doing it either way. You're doing it right. Mm-hmm. Either way, you're doing that. That is a good question though.
Yeah,
I think to me, it's a fairness debate.
Absolutely, I agree.
And forget about all the other riffraff and white noise. It comes down to fairness, and it's not fair. In my opinion, it's not fair. And there's no parity, okay? Because the genetic makeup of a man, at that age is much different.
Yeah.
So it comes down to it's just not fair.
No, I agree with you.
And it does need to be rewritten. Something needs to happen, and they're doing it after the season.
I mean, you got a number of females that are paying a price for one person to feel included.
Yeah.
No. There's something's got to happen. I mean, you cannot let people compete either, because then it's just the same as fair. It's not fair, right?
Right.
Something needs to change though. Something needs to be. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how you do it either. I wouldn't want to be writing it.
Maybe we are not equipped. Maybe I'm not equipped to provide answers to that.
We're not trying to provide answers.
As far as fairness is concerned, you're 100% correct.
But providing opinions,
sure.
It comes down to me that it ignites a fairness debate.
No, I'm with you. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
I agree with that, Joe. I think there is something to say about the fairness of all of it, and you probably do have an advantage. And, that's not maybe always the case because, there are some stellar women, female athletes out there.
And not downplaying that at all.
No.
I live with all women, okay? Including 2 cats and a dog that are female also. So I'm surrounded by pink in my house. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, yes, there are phenomenal female athletes, but yeah.
Well, you have and it's a unique situation because you have an athlete that's competed as a male, at the university,
yes,
and then
for 3 years
decided to change that, and I think that's the issue, right? Part of it, it's just it's a unique situation.
Well, it's the same person. Okay, so if you weren't successful doing it for 3 years. And then you go and you're extremely successful.
Well, you're the best out there right now.
But
yes.
We don't know the motivations of this person, and I don't ever want to say that they're only doing this because they want to get recognized as a swimmer or whatever. I feel like I would believe anybody if they feel like they're not comfortable in their body and that's what they want to do, and if they are into swimming and want to continue to do sports and the school allows them to do that, then I mean, I'm okay with it, but again, the competition, because I am, I do love sports as much, and the best thing about sports is the fairness and the competition that you get out of it. And if you're taking away that, that's a little bit of a problem. And we can go back to the Astros doing what they did. That left a really bad taste in my mouth. And maybe some of those swimmers have that same taste in their mouth over this, Yeah, and I don't want to, sit there and say that that's not valid for them, because I feel the same way.
I mean, they do. That whole team signed a petition regarding it. Not just other schools and athletes, that team. I think it's a different society we're in. You're going to see more stuff like this happen, I think.
Well, that's why it's being rewritten.
So things need to
for
be
parity, for fairness.
I think
to stop igniting the fairness debate. That's why it's being rewritten.
I think it should, because we are living in this new type of world, and including everybody and making sure everybody is a part of the thing. Because I mean, as a kid, I don't feel like I was included in a whole bunch of type of things that a lot of people did, and but nobody wants to feel like that. Nobody wants to be left out, especially if it's something that you love. And
absolutely,
people
but I'm also
love sports. I
also look at it, and we all have daughters. Okay, so if my daughter was ranked number 2 in the country, and the only person ahead of her was somebody that was competing as a male swimmer the year before, I'd be a little frustrated.
Sure,
not gonna, as a competitor.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with the person individually. That period,
absolutely not.
Nothing to do with this person or the
It's the situation.
Yeah, and the fairness of it, and that's So hopefully they do address it.
They're going to.
I think they need to, and
I think that's where we need to drop the heater. I don't want to drop a heater on the.
I'm not dropping a heater on Leah Thomas.
Right. Okay.
I'm dropping a heater on the situation, and that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
And quit igniting the fairness debate and do something about it.
Yeah, so we can move on and stop talking about it and stop having it in the news, because honestly, it's not
going to stop until it's looked at.
It's really a non-issue, because this is somebody's livfe that they're living
I'm with you on
doing
that.
their thing.
I'm totally with you on that, 100%. Listen, it's sensitive for a lot of people, and again, it's a unique situation. At least I haven't seen anything else going on like it. I've seen The Fighter, which I thought that was crazy, but. It needs to get looked at. I'm with you on that, in fairness, and 100% on board. Should we drop another heater on Putin?
One more time. Let's do it.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any more for you, Jeffrey?
No, I'm good. I think that's what I had.
Anybody else want to drop some heaters?
Actually, you know what? I have one more.
Oh, yeah, you did have one. You left.
Fuck Chris Pash, by the way.
Yeah. Chris Pash. I don't know if he listens to this, but.
Oh, well, anyways.
If he listened, Three Bro Migos. That's another.
That was a little shout out to my brother, by the way.
I like it. You had Bonds in that list.
I had Bonds. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that Bonds, Clemens, and Schilling not being in the Hall of Fame.
Going to drop a heater on the Riders?
Is the most absolutely ridiculous, asinine thing that any baseball fan could ever accept. None of us should accept it. Everybody should be rioting over this and saying to these curmudgeon-y ass, old ass writers, the fact that Bonds, Clemens, and Schilling didn't kiss your ass all fucking day, that you're not going to get them in. And, you guys can talk about steroids or whatever. That was the area. I don't really give a shit about steroids, to be honest. I really don't. Those guys are. I can go and look at Bonds' Fangraphs page all day long and just marvel at the baseball player that guy was. That guy was pure. That guy was baseball. That fucking guy spent 4 years worth of at-bats taking walks.
Yeah.
Just taking walks. That is absolutely insane and ridiculous.
Let's look at performance and not performance enhancing.
Exactly.
Let's look what he did.
Well, still prove it to me. Nobody's still proven Bonds tested positive. They say he did. They say Balco has a positive test, but there's nothing identified in any of those.
Put him in.
That's from the CEO.
Every single one of those. All three of those guys.
I forget his name, but he said, they pulled samples. They're not even labeled by name. You don't know whose test sample they are. You're saying it's Bonds, but you can't prove it's Bonds because that's not how we labeled those test samples. So while people say, they you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and all these old school writers that have just this chip on their shoulder where they're, I mean, I get they were the arbiters of the game back in their day, you know, but we have way better ways to consume baseball now than listening to a couple writers write on the thing, because you couldn't watch baseball on TV back in the day, you know. When these guys were, like I said, they were the arbiters to the players. They went and they wrote the stories and they came up with the storylines, you know. And I get that there's a lot of mystique to that and what you did and everything, and that's great. But to hold it against some of the best players that have ever graced the amazing game of baseball and not reward them for their body of work is disgusting.
Yeah, I'm with you. Heater on the writers.
Heater on the writers.
Heater on the writers.
And then a fourth to Putin.
Yeah.
Fourth to Putin, for sure.
Well, that's episode 8 of Watch Your Lips. You can find us at watchyour_lips on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and now on YouTube. Jeff, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey,
it was fun.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Jake,
We'll see you in like another week.
watch your lips.
Watch your lips, bruh.
Thanks, guys.